Right, well, I thought I ought to say hello. Hello, YouTubers. Finally do some content on here, which is always going to be a bit different from my other social media accounts. I will mix them around a bit and stuff like that, but YouTube, yeah. Turns out YouTube is much more difficult to edit and stuff like this, so I need to try and do these things in one whole go, so you're going to have to excuse me. I have a tendency to just go off on wild tangents and talk about things that, a bit like I'm doing now. Aren't anything to do with the thing that I'm trying to tell you. Anyway, so I thought we'd pop along and say hello. The Rag's out for his walk. He's just been for a bit of a fly as well. I have to face this way, otherwise that camera's just going to get covered in water because it is raining on him as well. So yeah, I'll just do a really quick brief outline. First of all, this is definitely me. There is a watermark on here. If you're watching this video, check the watermark. Please check the watermark, because it needs to match with, obviously, my username. There's been a lot of fakery going around on all platforms. There's a lot of me's around, actually, and there isn't. There's just one. There's one me and Rags. I'm sure there's many Nick Crawfords. In fact, there are, because I had to search, and there's a lot of Nick Crawfords. Anyway, and they're legitimate people, you know, just minding their own business. Yeah, so this is us. So I am what I am. I'm not a rescue, so to speak. What I do is I take in specific birds. They're the lucky few, I call them. Normally non-releasable birds. That's the kind of group that I have. So we have 5 resident birds, 2 ravens, 2 crows, and a rook. The ravens are all from the pet industry. Well, Rags and Frith are from the pet industry. The other birds are wild birds that have come to me, basically. Normally with some serious injuries that I've repaired, and they can't be released for whatever reason. So we've got Gilbert, who's a flightless crow, very happy, very dominant, loves his little mad family. We've got Morgan, who came to us with a broken leg, and some other sort of genetic issues, which make him very susceptible to all sorts of things. He also has an immune system issue. He has a lot of issues. He's a dwarf rook as well, so he stays with us. He's free fly. He can do what he wants. He does go out in the garden, free fly around, and if he wanted to leave, he could, you know. And he's brilliant. He's lovely, gorgeous. He's Rags's kind of stepbrother. They're very close, Rags and him. Then I've got Elsie, a 16-year-old crow. I found her when she was 8 months old. She then, let's kind of do the windscreen wipers. She then left and lived in the wild for 8 years, and then she returned after 8 years and has lived with us ever since. She has been out and about and caught up with her old flock and things like this. Not so much anymore, because she's very, very elderly. But she just always came back. She had lost the interest in the wild. It's quite an odd thing, actually. I mean, it's not what you expect, but I mean, it's part of the amazing structure of these guys' brain, their ability to retire. And they actually do it. Right now, I'm going to have to turn around. I have to keep walking around, because the thing is, Rags, I can't take my glasses off, right? Because Rags is a bit nippy, to say the least. I normally get bitten around the face once every quarter in the year. He's already done his bite once this year, but he's even more feisty at the moment, because he's looking after a rescue bird on my behalf that we have in at the moment. It's a rescue raven. It's a baby rescue raven, and he's looking after it. Now, we do rescues, but very few and far between. They really are truly the lucky few. I'm afraid I'm very selective about what we take, because I insist it needs to be rewilded, if healthy enough to do so, and so far they all have been. The raven is a wild raven, hit by a car, broken leg, repaired, and it's in the process now of bonding to Rags and Frith. I mean, not bonding, but building a family unit, and then it'll naturally go when it's ready. Absolutely standard raven behaviour. And all is good on that front. So yeah, that's us. That's what I do. So with the rescue ravens, these guys, I do call them rescue ravens. They are from the pet industry. I really disagree with these guys being in the pet industry. They're in the UK, and really around the world, they're being sold to people with no experience whatsoever. And very often it leads to them just ending up their entire lives stuck in an aviary. That's just not fair. I believe it should be illegal, but it's, that's a different story. I believe if they're here, they exist, then we should all do our best to help them. I don't believe there should be any more brought into existence for the pet trade, but it will happen. Nothing's going to change. So my role really is just to try and educate people about the individuality of these guys, what their needs are, and maybe a slightly different way of looking at them, which is what I'm doing, which leads me on to this. So my guys aren't aviary birds. I just do not have aviaries at all. These guys live as one family with me and my wife. They are a family of misfits. We're all a family of misfits. We all get along. Yeah, they're fairly house trained, the resident lot, because they've been with us for a while. They don't like living in filth, which is contrary to what people believe. And we just don't mind cleaning. I don't mind cleaning around them at all. My wife does whinge about it quite a lot, but that's absolutely fair enough. And it really falls to me to do that. So yeah, that's what I do. Takes maybe an hour and a half a day, and just going behind them basically. So when I pass them, if they've made a mess, then I'll just clean it up then and there. It's much easier. So the reason I do that is because I'm doing a 50-50. I figured, well, look, these guys are born into the captivity, right? That's what humans have decided for them, which I'm really disappointed by. So they're born to be pets. Now, there is nothing in law that states they can't be just chucked in an aviary as long as it's a adequate size, which is ridiculously small, by the way. Then that's perfectly legal, and they can stay in there for their entire lives and never come out. Which I just can't. I can't get that through my head. It just doesn't compute with me at all. So I've taken a totally different approach, and to try and prove that these guys are proper sentient beings, massive individual characters, highly intelligent, and more intelligent than we give them credit for, even than the scientific papers and everything else and the research that is done into them. I just don't think we're measuring it quite right. It's done on a human basis, and you can't really measure other species' intelligence measured against our own intelligence. They think in a different way. But that's my intention, is to sort of just show, look, if they exist in the pet trade, then give them this life. Give them a fantastic, blissful 50% domestic, and they live this life of they've got toys, they charge around my house. If they choose to sleep for the day, they can sleep. If they choose to just trash my house, they can trash my house for a day. It's absolutely up to them. And generally, they're very well behaved. They get the toys out. They've got toy boxes and all these sorts of things. Ready access to food, water, and baths, and anything they want. Rags will come and ask me, because he has a bath in our bath, and he'll just come and ask me, can I have a bath? He's been asking me today, can I have a bath? But he's going out in the rain, so there's not much point until he gets home. It's just, he couldn't figure it out. Anyway, so they're having a massively good fun time. They're also living as a family unit. So there's a cross-species family unit going on here, and it's a really interesting structure. So we've got Elsie at the top. Well, she's not at the top, but she's the one of wisdom. She is the one who has imparted the knowledge to all of these guys, because she's always been here. And she really has. She kind of has given them a set of rules that they follow in the house generally. Then you've got Rags. Rags is the one who everyone looks up to. Everyone wants to be Rags. Everyone wants to be around Rags. What he says goes, generally. I'll get onto that in a second. But that's what he exudes, this male authority. I am Rags's guardian, and that's how I see myself, but I'm also his best friend. I'm not a bonded partner to him. I sort of am, but it's not really worked out like that. We are just one of a kind, we just sort of, that's what we are. We've ended up that way. So he's got a partner, Frith, Now Rags is 4. He's got a partner, Frith, who's 8, and trying to do this all in one take is difficult. Is 8, and she came to us when she was 6. Same story, pet industry, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Rags has not had a good history, I will say that. And Frith has also not had a good history. So I'm basically trying to repair them. Yeah, Frith is 8. So Frith is very matriarchal. Rags is under Frith's thumb, so to speak. But she is a gorgeous, gorgeous bird. She's really, really sweet, very good natured, but she can be quite belligerent in her attitude. I'll get onto that in a minute. Who else have we got? Then we've got Morgan, the micro rook I mentioned earlier. So he is Rags's kind of half brother. I think they see each other as. There was only a year difference between them, and they kind of Rags just brought him up, and they've bonded, and they've become this very weird. It's the weirdest relationship, isn't it, Rags? You and Morgan. Rags adores Morgan, and Morgan adores Rags, but they are species that really shouldn't get along, particularly. There's never particularly any animosity between them. However, Morgan is not allowed to sit on me, for example, if Rags is in the room, particularly, he gets quite cross about it. Now, if I try and pick Morgan up, Rags will get very angry with me and tell me to put him down. If I need to take him away and do some little, check him out health-wise or something like that, I cannot do it in the same room as Rags, otherwise he will attack me. And he will do the same with any other bird that attacks Morgan. So he's very protective over Morgan, but then Rags will attack Morgan. So it's like, no, he's my brother. Only I can attack him, which is fair enough. I mean, it's siblings. That's what siblings do. Yeah, that's still on. Good. Then we've got Gilbert. Gilbert is a 2-year-old, broken wing, can't fly, and what's Gilbert? He's a little entity by himself, really. He's Morgan's son, but Morgan is a typical rook parent, and they're useless. He's an interesting one, Gilbert. He hasn't really found his place in the family. They all respect him that he's disabled, and they all do look after him because he's disabled. But he really is still searching for his place. He is only 2, so crows take a bit longer to develop. About 4, you'd expect him to start sort of maturing and finding his place in the flock. He's a lovely boy, and he's very playful, and he loves toys. Because he's flightless, he seems to be becoming very, very intelligent, which I find quite a lot when they're quite disabled. And he is very intelligent, very bright, picks things up very quickly, loves toys and games. And the other slight issue with Gilbert at the moment is going through the terrible 2s, which crows actually do go through. And at the moment, he's just destroying our house. When I say destroying, I mean he's peeling paint, which just gets filled and painted straight away. So I do also go around with a paintbrush continuously and filler. This is why it takes quite a lot to look after them, and I in no way recommend doing what I'm doing. What I'm doing is a lifelong commitment. I have a policy of birds aren't moved on. So Rags is with me for life because he's a rescue pet industry raven. He can't be released into the wild because of that. Same with Frith. So those 2 are with me for their lifespans. His lifespan is expected to be about 40 years, maybe 35 to 40 years. So that's the rest of my life with Rags, pretty much my serviceable life. And that's what I've done. I mean, they are pretty much a full-time job. I do work as well, which I'm just cutting down at the moment, to spend more time with them, and also to build a bit more content and try and push the message out a little bit, because I think this is a good opportunity to enjoy Rags, watch him develop. But you can't help but get tangled up in the story of him and them as you watch, I hope. So, yeah. Welcome to 40 years of me. Oh dear. Oh, poor world. Anyway, um, what else would there be? I think that's probably about it for that really at the moment. Otherwise, I'll just rattle on. I mean, what's that, 15 minutes or so. So actually, I'll just mention before I go, because you would have seen these, and I did actually notice a comment on, weirdly, on the fake account about, oh, at least, this other raven or something hasn't got these. Now, these are part of Rags's training method. So while they do look cruel, they're harmless, and I have made sure they're harmless because there are some flaws in the ones you can actually buy, which can make them put a bit too much strain on the hips and the legs. So I redesigned these. So he has got flight leads at the moment. He was a free flyer, but he did some really stupid things. Because I don't train with food, I train with implicit trust. It just wasn't quite there, and he just did some stupid things, nearly killed himself. And I'm not having a bird, go free flying for a year and die and think that's a success, because it isn't. He's got 40 years ahead. If he has to sacrifice a couple of years, 3 years of his life, learning how to do this properly and safely, so he can do that safely for all of his existence, and that's what he does. So that's what the Ravens at the moment are on. Rags is months away from free flight again, and he will have a GPS tracker, but he's extremely close. I mean, really, really close. This is really just ironing out the last few things and the last few details to keep him safe. Mainly his deep fear of humans. Oh my goodness me, he's pooed all over my top. Yeah, so these are what they are made of. So these are specialist made. Normally they're just leather and there's no give in them. But because I'm doing training with them, they're like, I think they're 80 meters long, these particular ones. He has different sets. These are 80-meter long, and they're 75% paracord, 3mm paracord, so super, super light. Intertwined with that is bungee cord, so 3mm bungee cord. And it's not super stretchy bungee cord, but it's stretchy. And right up to here, up to the bits that join his anklets, they're also bungee cord as well. So when he flies off and he reaches maximum, all it does is put a small level of tension. Basically, he can feel weight, and he comes down and he lands. Now, he learned immediately by a very interesting thing that he did, how long these were, and has never overflown. So when I first introduced him to these, when he became grounded again, he was quite flustered. So I brought him out and I sent him off, and he obviously went too far and pulled on it. So he came back to me, and I had to go and collect him because that was the whole problem. I collected him. See you later, Rax. I collected him anyway. Oh, goodness me, I'm going to have to edit this now. I collected him, and he hopped on my shoulder and asked him to do it again, and he refused to fly again. He just wouldn't fly again. So what he did instead was he hopped off my shoulder onto the floor right in front of me and walked off. And I just couldn't work out what he was doing. I thought he was having a right strop with me, and he wasn't. What he was doing, he was walking off to measure the distance of them. So he walked off to maximum distance, stopped. I went and collected him, and from that point onwards, he never ever has overshot those needs. And they are bespoke built for each bird, weight-wise and everything else. The whole goal with these guys is free flight, and to have a just 50% raven, 50% domestic. Have I insulted you or something, mate? Oh, he's gone to his normal spot. Bless him. He is a bit OCD. He does, he's got his normal rock that he sits on, and he likes to sit on that normal rock. We're in a ruin in the Scottish Highlands.